Once upon a time, many years ago, I conducted a funeral and a celebration of life for a mouse. Yes, a mouse. His name was Marvin, and he belonged to my younger son, who, for whatever reason, wanted a couple of mice. And we discovered pretty quickly that his cat, Nacho, really enjoyed those mice. So the mice ended up in their cage, their glass container. It was like an aquarium in my walk in closet on top of my Chester drawers. Not a pleasant life for these mice. One died, but Marvin was Rhett's prize little mouse. And then one day, Nacho managed to get up on the Chester drawers, knock the thing off, and kill Marvin. And my child was devastated. He was probably 7 years old. And so on a blustery March evening, I stood outside with him. It was dark, and we went outside, and my older son thought we were completely ridiculous. And I gave a eulogy for a mouse named Marvin. The wind's whipping around, but this meant so much to a 7-year-old boy who had lost his little pet. I eulogized him. I think I even sang a song, and we had him wrapped up. We buried him in the backyard, and then we formed a cross with two little sticks. Yeah, I had a funeral for a mouse. Pet loss is a significant loss. We bring these creatures, whatever they are, cats, dogs, horses, iguanas, into our lives. We form a bond with them. They become our family. And I think one of the great cruelties of life is that they have such short lifespans, most animals. And then they're gone. And sometimes they die on their own. Sometimes we have to make that decision to let them go. And I've been down this road many times, as I'm sure many of you have. I don't like it when people say, it's just a dog. Well, it was just a cat. Don't ever say that to somebody who has a pet, because they are a part of our families. And so I think about when I lost my Dalmatian Chaz, and I was just pouring my heart out on social media leading up to having to release him. He was almost 14 years old. I had had him since he was 3 months old. I mean, he was really my best friend. And before he passed, I did two things. First of all, I went and met with my veterinarian. We just sat on the floor of the vet clinic and talked about how I needed to let him go. He couldn't walk. He'd been in physical therapy for a year. I had my dog in acupuncture and all sorts of things. And I wanted him to be laid to rest, or at least put to rest, in his home on his dog bed. And so leading up to that, I ordered a little necklace, which I never wear, that I could give to my veterinarian to take to the crematorium to put some of his ashes in. It had his name on it. It was a little heart. And I bought a blank notebook. I'll tell you about that in just a second. But on the day that he passed, my younger son stopped into the grocery store on his way home from work and bought a steak and a pound of bacon and cooked it, and Chaz ate every bit of it. My older son was stationed at a military post, so we Skyped him in. And I invited a small group of friends over. And in the presence of my veterinarian and his assistant, everybody shared memories of Chaz, kissed him on the head, and then they all went out to my screened porch while my son and I stayed with my veterinarian and his assistant and released Chaz to the next world. And then we all went out to dinner. Not the veterinarian or the assistant, but just my friends. And so that night, I took this blank notebook that I had bought, probably at Dollar Tree, and I started writing letters to my dog. And I mean, I poured my grief out that first night, pages and pages, crying. I'm sure the ink smeared on a lot of them from my tears. And every day when I would get home from work, I couldn't wait. I had a need to write in this journal. Now, you may be sitting here thinking, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But let me tell you what happened. So every day I'd get home from work, and before I would go work out or cook dinner, I would sit down and I would write. And I would write 2 to 4 pages to my dog, Dear Chaz. Initially, I was pouring out my grief. And then I started to capture memories, special memories that we had created. Those pet names that we call our pets, because we rarely call our pets by their names. We have all sorts of nicknames for them. I captured all that in this notebook along with my grief. And what I noticed is after about 6 or 7 months, I didn't feel the need to write every day. I would write every other day, I would write every few days. And I noticed I didn't feel the need to write as much. And when I finally got to the point that I only felt like opening the notebook once or twice a week, and my entries were maybe 4 sentences, I knew that I was healing. And then one day I just closed the book and put it up on a shelf in my closet where it remains. Beautiful memories and the grief of a woman who truly loved a dog. Loss is loss. We lose our loved ones who are humans. There are many things that we lose. But I think it's really important to honor the life of a creature that has given us so much love, unconditional love. And especially for you parents out there, if you have children, they're very affected and devastated by these losses. So honor that. Have the funeral. Do a eulogy. Encourage them to write. Even though they know it's not going to the pet, it can help get their feelings out. It's a way of honoring those beautiful creatures that come into our lives and have such short lives. Just take that to heart, and I hope you have a great day.